Hey buddies, it's Friday, very early morning, so I thought I'd record a vlog before I went to sleep in, well, let's be honest, it's gonna be about 5 hours more before I go to sleep. I'm on a really weird schedule right now, but I wanted to give my first impressions on Tomb Raider. Played it a few days ago on the show, so I'm a little rusty, but from what I remember, it was fucking awesome, and it is totally a contender for Game of the Year. It harkens very much, any comparison to Uncharted is warranted. It feels very much like an Uncharted game, gameplay-wise, story-wise. I haven't, as a preface to this, I haven't played any of the Tomb Raider games in the past. I only dabbled in them a little bit, like maybe picked one up at a friend's house or something like that, but never really truly committed to them. In fact, Uncharted series was probably my first true, like, adventure, I don't know, is it a genre? But tomb raiding type game. And I mean, these games are amazing because they are very much action. They feel like an action movie. It feels like you're in an Indiana Jones type movie. And that's enjoyable. Laura as a character, let's compare it. Let's make this a whole full-blown comparison video, because I might as well say that right now because I'm going to be constantly comparing her to Nathan Drake and his class of characters that come along with him as well. Laura immediately, that's probably the strongest point in the game, is that as a character, she is magnetic. She's adorable. She's attractive, of course. That's another subject, though. As you can see in the comments on our first video of the first look, she is. I think she has an enigmatic personality, a believable one, which is important as well. It softens the character in this reboot. It makes her more believable, I think, and more approachable for the average gamer. Again, I haven't played in the previous Tomb Raider, so I don't know how approachable she was. So this is speaking completely from a person who, I guess, you know, the consumer standpoint, the image, the broadcast public image of Lara Croft. I think I did see one of the movies with Angelina Jolie. And I thought that it wasn't the most terrible video game movie in the world. It wasn't the greatest movie in the world either, not even close. But, the game is gorgeous, runs really quite well on my modest specs with the 6970 M Radeon HD. The hair effects, the Tress FX, patent pending, no, probably patented, trademark. Were really great, and it's a really great step in a new direction for hair. I feel like I've seen something like it before, but with more ropey hair, I think, and that's the main thing, is that this is counting many individual strands. Not sure how they're doing it without overloading the GPU or the CPU in the case that you have a NVIDIA card, but it does pretty well. You mainly notice it in the cutscenes, which I could probably do without it anywhere but the cutscenes, and you do take a performance hit, a frame rate hit, when you have it on. But I found that I only missed it once I'd played with it for a while, and I think that's quite impressive, that it actually is an effect that, unlike many that are tagged onto video games now, that I actually genuinely noticed. And it was cool. Gameplay-wise, that's what's the most important thing, right? Here's my biggest gripe. I would like it, because she is such a believable human-like character that seems like a normal girl just explode. Like, it's supposed to be her origin story. So she's making the transition from college, university student. Maybe she's 21. So yeah, university student transitioning into adventurer and following in the footsteps of her father before her. The transition, like many reviewers has said, is jarring, way too quick, video game-like, and it really does have. There's a disparity between a large disparity between her cutscene Laura and actually playing the game Laura, and I'm pretty sure that you can't. No, I'm absolutely certain you cannot play the game in a realistic manner if you chose. Cutscene Laura is very emotionally broken up and trying to cope with the situation sort of in her head of suddenly she's killing people. She has to survive on her own and some pretty dire situations. whereas before she was only, you know, in theory looking for an adventure, a theoretical adventure in which she could find the stuff that she'd been researching. Now she's in a full-blown one with, again, killing people. And they try to make that transition by, well, the first thing she does is she kills a deer, and then she kind of cries about it. I can understand that. I think I would be emotionally, I might not cry, but I would be emotionally probably touched by the idea of killing an animal, which I have never done in my life. And then she is forced, as the sort of infamous scene with the implied ensuing rape scene. It's a molestation that she experiences and then fights back and kicks some fucking ass. That is supposed to ease the transition, or rather be what pushes her over the edge from normal person who wouldn't consider killing another to someone who has to defend and fight her way out of a corner. And that was a believable transition as well. The thing is, after that, she goes from killing one guy to killing swaths of guys with no other thought. Like, the one guy, she kind of like almost puked. She like, it emotionally disturbs her. And again, rightfully so, for anybody making that transition into killer, I can only imagine that's what it's like, is to feel sick to your stomach with that realization. And especially when it's so up and close and personal like it was with her. But then she's just mowing guys down for the rest of the game. And almost immediately after that scene, she is just like shooting like 20 people at once in like a span of 5 minutes. And it's, again, it's a video game, and I know that the developers have to kind of create a balance between fun and realism and believableness. But the thing is, I think that they could have, and it is very much like Uncharted in this respect. Like, Uncharted, Nathan Drake was always mowing down tons of guys, and I made comments when I was first playing the game, when I was first playing Uncharted 2. I talked about how I was sort of disappointed. In the very beginning of Uncharted 2, it feels like you're going to be able to decide how you go through each mission, stealthily, or killing everybody and doing whatever you want as a crazy balls-to-the-wall action adventurer. And then very quickly it makes that transition. Maybe it's Uncharted 3. Anyway, no, it's Uncharted 2 that it happens. And then you meet up with that, as soon as you get to the jungle, basically, you have to kill guys. You have no choice. And you have to kill many of them and get right in the action. And it's hard not to be shot. And I've looked at walkthroughs of people playing really damn well. And they always get clipped by some bullets. And that's not believable to me. I would like these games to be still action-packed. And I know this would be difficult to achieve. Action-packed, but not as many baddies coming at you, making every single baddie count. You know, games like Hitman pull this off really well, in that he is a cold, hardened killer, and yet you can go through each mission without killing a single soul, except for your target, of course. And it's all about how much effort you want to put into you know, the game and how you play it. So I'd like to see these adventure titles make that transition. And it's a hard sell, I'm sure, on the inside of that company, like for somebody in there to be like on the creative team to say, how about we do this so that there's not as much shooting and not as much action? And people are like, are you fucking crazy? We want to sell this game. So that's the thing, that I'm sure that there was tons of people on the inside who wished they could have kind of broken boundaries with Laura and made it so that, you know, everything was a survival. I wish that ammo was way more scarce. It isn't. It's plentiful as hell. I'm on normal mode. I don't see it being much different on hard mode. Like, there's arrows everywhere. We're making jokes that there's somebody just making them and leaving them around the island. I would like a scarcity of ammo and make it so that you have to think about every shot you're about to take, because you might not have enough bullets to make it through the next battle. Like a true survival game. And that's, you know, what they're doing. Like, you know, with... I could say the same for Far Cry and this one. Like, this is all about her survival. It should really feel like you have to scrounge and save, you know, everything. So anyways, that gripe aside, the whole thing is amazing. It came parcel and package with the whole debate about breasts and the portrayal of females in video games. A much more believable Laura still draws the criticism that she is unbelievably big boobed and attractive, and it's not fair because there is no, it's not an accurate depiction of the average female, and big boobed girls are only there to be sex symbols, which is what I always, whenever I hear somebody saying like too many large breasted women and they're nothing but sex symbols, it's like all I hear is you're calling big breasted women sex symbols. You're boiling them down to nothing but that trait. And you're like the left side of the camp is just as guilty as the right as having tunnel vision towards the boobs when you can. The thing is, people like boobs. This is what I want to say, is like people like boobs and they like attractive people. And just because on average in films and television and gaming media you see more attractive people than you see in your average Walmart when you go out, or when you go to school, this is because they've picked the cream of the crop to become the most famous actresses. It's not a coincidence. Actresses and actors. People like to see attractive people. They like eye candy. And this is just a fact of the matter that I can't believe that we're even debating this. Sure, I love to see it when I love characters that are attractive by their own right beyond physical aesthetics, and you know, especially atypical beauty. I love to see that, and I think that can be one point that games could maybe branch out from, is to atypical beauty. Still, obviously, have attractive characters. You need them. You have to have them. But like, an example of atypical beauty would be in The Artist. You know, the woman in that, gorgeous, right? But like a very atypical gorgeous. You know, she had sort of a high forehead and like this gigantic rack of teeth that, and a bit of a, I think maybe even overbite, but like in a way that they were her assets in a way that like that sort of I guess uniqueness was what made her attractive, and I mean the smile and everything like that, but like having personality characteristics that accentuate that to create beautiful characters. I can understand that argument, is that they need to just break away from template beauty and scientific beauty, because movies and television, because they're choosing from real people, they are more inclined to have unique characteristics, whereas the video games, like, it's all up to the artists, and often they're just trying to achieve what's going to attract the largest number of people to the character, and not taking risks, right? But the whole breast dilemma debate on both sides, ridiculous to me, saying her boobs aren't big enough compared to old Laura's. Well, she's a young Laura in this. They keep growing. And second of all, they don't need to be bigger. They don't need to be smaller either. The artist decided to make them the size that they were, and I'm happy with it. She's a very attractive character. I would have liked to see a little bit more boob physics to make it more realistic to me. I'm honest, like seriously. I think that not only would it be fun to watch, but boob physics would make more sense because she's running around with, frankly, no bra on. If all games to have more boob physics, I think this one should have it. But again, that would have just drawn more controversy, which they should have embraced anyways, because they have to love any publicity being good publicity. That is I think I've said everything I have to say. The boob debate will rage on, but to be succinct about the point, love them big, small, every sized. Breasts are beautiful, and I don't happen to be one to complain when they're large. So that's it. That kind of drew out. I think that ended up being bigger than the review of the game, but I had to address it. And I'm not alone on this. Becky would say the exact same thing. You've seen her say the exact same thing. Thanks for watching, buddies. Lots of stuff coming up this weekend. Probably shows all the way from today when you watch this, 1 o'clock Pacific time, from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday for the release of God of War Ascension. Don't come to my house with pitchforks if I miss a day in there somewhere and we need an extra break. Monday could be a possibility for that. Not sure, but that's so far the plan. Games to be announced. Keep it on Facebook for that. And oh, and one side note, and I'll probably mention this multiple times so people kind of get the picture about it. Amazon associate links and GameFanShop.com associate links. I'm going to be starting to post those on Twitch and on YouTube maybe, and on our website. If you're going to buy a game, and you were going to buy it anyways, you might as well buy it through us if you want to. You can get Steam links on GameFanShop.com, and Amazon also still sells stuff like Origin links. No Steam links though, but they have downloadable copies, they have physical copies, and in fact, if you buy anything on Amazon after clicking one of our links, it helps us. We get a percentage. Like, it's little. I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to say how. It's not a huge amount, but it's a good amount. Like, if you're gonna, just don't do it to support the show. Do it if you were going to do it anyways, is what I'm saying. If you're gonna buy these things anyways, you might as well do it through us, because we get a little bit of cash, and it costs you nothing extra. It's the exact same price. In fact, Game Fan Shop has Tomb Raider right now for, I think, the cheapest price that you can get it online. That said, that sounded totally like an advertisement. I am not going to become a whore to these things. They're just going to be there, and I just want you to know about them. Because, again, I'm never going to change my opinion on a game because I think that I want you to go buy it. So just don't worry about that. Alright, I think I've said everything I need to say. See you later, buddies. I love you.